After taking a short break to survive the heatwave that swept across France, we're finally back with more adventures. Living in France definitely has its pros and cons. We enjoy mild winters, plenty of sunshine, and beautiful green landscapes, but summer can be a completely different story. The heatwave we saw coming turned out to be every bit as intense as we expected, so we did our best to prepare for it. Before the temperature climbed too high, we spent every possible moment working in the garden, making the most of the cooler mornings and evenings. At the same time, we were counting down the days until the kids' summer vacation begins. Once they're home, life slows down a little and our days become much more relaxed. But before that happens, we have one big, actually huge, project that we've been planning for a very long time.
So now that the fence is completely ready, we're going to start making the gate to enter the greenhouse area. It's just so we can keep the ducks properly fenced in once they arrive. It will be quite massive, but I think it will be quite charming as well.
So after finishing the fence around our garden, a project meant to protect our future ducks and chickens from predators, and our crops from all the animals that would happily feast on them, it was finally time to build the gate. The gate would become the main entrance to the garden and the very last missing piece of the fence. We spent quite a bit of time designing it, and the plans kept changing right up until the very end. Like most of our projects, we figured things out as we went, making small adjustments along the way. One thing is certain though, we genuinely enjoyed the whole process and we couldn't be happier with how it turned out. Gisli's parents are here to spend some time with us, escaping Iceland's somewhat cooler weather in search of a warmer summer. Unfortunately for them, their visit happened to coincide with one of the worst heat waves we've experienced. So instead of pleasant sunshine, they got to experience the full force of the French summer right along with us. Despite the scorching temperatures, they arrived just in time to lend us a hand with the gate. It turned out to be much heavier than it looks, as we built it entirely from reclaimed pieces of wood we found in our barn. Giving old materials a second life has become one of our favorite parts of working on this homestead, and this project was no exception.
Not bad for a day's work. So I have notched grooves for these supports, and once this gate is in, it's gonna go 70 centimeters in the ground. It should be like 240 then to the ground, so I should easily be able to drive the tractor underneath.
The gate frame turned out to be so heavy that only the tractor could move it. It carried the gate frame all the way to the other field, where we could finally see just how massive it really was. We have to admit, a gate this big made us a little nervous, but it was also the ultimate test. If it could withstand its own weight, we knew we were building something that would last. Once we had found the perfect spot for the gate, we brought in the digger to excavate 2 deep holes for the gate frame. The 2 upright sides of the frame would be buried directly into the ground, creating a solid foundation strong enough to support the heavy gate that would eventually hang from it. But of course, no homestead project would be complete without at least one unexpected surprise. Just as we thought everything was going smoothly, we ran into a little problem that forced us to change our plans.
I guess the comment about putting the plastic mesh above the pipe was probably a good idea. It didn't take us long to forget where we put the pipe. It's amazing accuracy, just like right in the center. So good. So now I've put these 2 poles to mark exactly the center where the pole will be. So I made the first hole, destroyed the second. Now it's time to fix this. But at least now I know exactly where to clear out this one, and then I can fix the pipe once I've put the pole or the gate in. So now both the holes are ready. I managed to blow at least one more hose on the digger, so all is going perfectly according to plan. Good day.
A broken water pipe and a damaged hydraulic hose couldn't stop us now. It was finally time for the next step, setting the gate frame in place, securing it with concrete, and then backfilling the holes.
So that's 3 wheelbarrows of cement poured in each hole, and then it has to be left for 3-4 days to properly cure. In the meantime, right now I'm just gonna fix the water pipe, close all this and make the gates. So just gonna do something simple. Have 2 connectors, cutting off the damaged parts, and then I'll just put a hose between. Not really the best, but it will work. That's the pipe fixed and it's holding pressure. So will be buried as soon as the concrete is dry.
With the gate frame secured in place, all that was left to do was let the concrete cure while we turned our attention to the many other projects waiting for us around the homestead.
Is that a lot nicer? No flies in the eyes? So we had a neighbor that had some masks for her horses, but these ones she didn't like, so she gave them to us. They seem to fit just fine. Maybe not quite tight enough, but hopefully the flies just don't find their way in. Hey! Finally worked. Got Saxo to put on the mask. I think he got jealous of his brother. At least it didn't seem against it today. It seems to work just fine even though there's some space around. See nothing around his eyes.
Meanwhile, the garden kept rewarding us with more produce that we could keep up with. At the peak of the season, we were harvesting nearly 3 kilos of cucumbers every single day, and keeping up with the harvest became a challenge in itself. But the heat wave was fast approaching and we had to prepare.
So, we're about to put the shade net on the greenhouse because the weather prediction is 38-40 degrees for the next 10 days. So better cover everything in there so it doesn't burn.
Our first priority was the polytunnel. Even with the sides fully open, the temperature inside is always noticeably higher than outside. Thankfully, when we bought it, we knew just how hot French summers can get, so we also invested in a shade net for exactly this situation. The time had finally come to put it to use. We deliberately position the shade net lower on the side of the polytunnel that gets the strongest sun during the day, while leaving it slightly higher on the opposite side. This gave our crops extra protection from the most intense part of the summer heat. With even higher temperatures forecast for the next day, we spent the rest of the day planning ahead and doing everything we could to protect the garden. We covered our more sensitive plants with anything that could provide even a little bit of shade, and then could only hope for the best.
getting quite miserable working now during the day. If you leave the thermometer out, you can see super low humidity. Oh, it's going up. And pretty warm in the sun. So we try to work only between, I don't know, 7 in the morning to 10, 11. And then you can work in the evening, like after 6, 7. Something like that. But just way too warm.
The heat wave definitely slowed our pace. Working during the day became unbearable. Kindergartens were closing after lunch, and even the thick walls of our house struggled to keep the heat out, despite all the shutters being closed. Moments like these make us think about climate change and how things might look just 10 years from now. But for now, stay safe out there, and we'll see you very soon.